I know that Daniel loves peanut butter. I'm still gonna label this. You always wanna be conscious if someone has a nut allergy.
South Park just smashed Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's latest PR stunt, and it's absolutely brutal.
Always loved taking something pretty ordinary and elevating it.
The royal duo tried to play the world's greatest humanitarians, but South Park turned their big red carpet moment into one of the funniest roasts of the year. The new satirical take, Lessons in Narcissism from Meghan, tears apart everything from her pricey homemade jam to that over-the-top New York gala, where they picked up their Humanitarians of the Year award.
It's about connecting with friends. I love that we're doing this together for the first time. Making new friends. That is so good.
We family now.
Cartman, Kyle, and Stan go full savage, mocking how the couple who fled the spotlight somehow managed to find a new one every single week. Meghan's big speeches, Harry's awkward smiles, the endless photo ops. Nothing escapes South Park's razor-sharp humor. So, here's the real question. How do two people who claim to crave privacy keep showing up on every red carpet on Earth? And can you really call it charity when the cameras show up before the guests do? Let's find out.
I didn't know much about him, and so the only thing that I had asked her when she said she wanted to set us up was, I had one question. I said, well, is he nice?
It all started with a jar of jam. Yes, you heard that right. Not a scandal, not a royal statement, not even a Netflix trailer, just jam. But of course, when it's Meghan Markle, even jam somehow becomes headline news. So there she was, standing in her luxurious Montecito kitchen, sunlight streaming in, marble counters shining, dressed like she just walked off a Vogue shoot, holding up a jar of homemade jam with a proud little smile. The caption was simple, something wholesome, something relatable. The message? I'm just like you. Except she wasn't.
Sick of hearing about them, but I can't get away from them. They're everywhere, in my face. Look, Kyle, we just kind of don't care about some dumb prince and his stupid...
Because as the internet quickly noticed, the woman preaching mindfulness, simplicity, and attention to detail was holding her canning tongs upside down. Yep, the same Meghan Markle who runs a lifestyle brand about intentional living couldn't even hold the tongs right. If this were a South Park episode, Kyle would have sighed. She talks about mindfulness, but can't even mind her tongs. And Cartman? He'd be rolling on the floor screaming, "Somebody get Harry out of the kitchen before he burns down Montecito." That's Meghan in a nutshell. Everything has to look perfect, even if it doesn't make sense. The photo went viral faster than you can say brand partnership. Fans praised her for being down to earth, while critics joked she probably spent more time posing with the jam than actually making it. And honestly, they might be right. But that was just Meghan's morning. By evening, she had swapped the humble homemaker look for her Hollywood Duchess persona. The same day she was showing off jam, she was on stage in New York City beside Prince Harry, accepting yet another Humanitarian of the Year award at the Project Healthy Minds Gala. Now, the award was supposedly for their mental health advocacy and work toward creating safe online spaces. But as soon as photos hit the internet, people started asking the one question no PR team wants to hear. Wait, what exactly did they do? Comments poured in. Did they give themselves the award? Are we just handing out trophies for existing now? And my personal favorite, is this about the jam? The internet wasn't buying it. Even South Park would have called this one out instantly. Kyle would have muttered, "Looks like you don't need achievements anymore, just a Netflix special and a publicist." And Cartman would have added, "Bro, I'm giving myself the Nobel Peace Prize for surviving another season of this."
Right, and now you wrote a book that reports on the lives of the royal family. Right, so you're a journalist. We just want to be normal people, all this attention is so hard.
Meanwhile, poor Harry stood beside her on stage, looking like he'd rather be back in Afghanistan than at another gala. Meghan was glowing, smiling wide, waving, clapping, doing that pageant-style head tilt. Harry, on the other hand, looked like someone had just told him his car got towed. His face said it all. I have no idea why I'm here. And to be fair, he probably didn't, because just days earlier, Meghan had done something that would have left anyone speechless, even her husband. She posted a video of herself riding through Paris in a limousine, legs up, smiling, recording the lights, casually driving through the exact tunnel where Princess Diana died. Let that sink in. For Harry, that tunnel represents the most painful night of his life, the place where he lost his mother. For Meghan, it was apparently a good spot for an aesthetic city lights video. The internet exploded. Insensitive was putting it mildly. She turned Diana's death site into Instagram content, one person wrote. Another said, "How tone deaf can you be?" Even South Park couldn't make this up. Cartman would have screamed, "She filmed a vlog where Princess Diana died? Dude, that's next level." And Kyle would have just buried his face in his hands, mumbling, "This woman's PR team deserves a raise just for showing up to work." But Meghan didn't slow down. She and Harry still appeared at the New York gala, smiling like nothing happened. From far away, they looked like a picture-perfect couple. But if you watched closely, their body language told a completely different story. Meghan was doing all the smiling, all the reaching, the touching, the gazing, while Harry looked like a cardboard cutout of himself.
What are you suggesting? Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving wife actually doesn't want her privacy. How dare you, sir? My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy!
They held hands, but it didn't feel romantic. It looked more like Meghan's grip said, "Don't run away," and Harry said, "Please let go." Cartman would have yelled, "Look!" She's giving him the Bambi eyes, and he's giving her the Wi-Fi loading symbol. Kyle would have added, "That deer's standing on the edge of divorce." And just when people thought Meghan might take a break from being everywhere all at once, she showed up at Paris Fashion Week. Because of course she did. This time, she was dressed in all white. Some fans said she looked elegant. Critics, however, said she looked like she wrapped herself in hotel bed sheets.
Let me get all of our prep sorted.
Do you want this? This is the one, or
We're
no?
gonna need a lot more salt. than
Okay,
that.
great. Yeah, I was like,
But I love you so much. We're going to need boxes.
No, I think we should bring that back. This is for her, Branzino.
This is for Abby's fit.
Her shoes were enormous, her poses awkward, and her laugh painfully loud. During the show, surrounded by quiet, serious fashion editors, Meghan randomly burst into laughter. Loud, solo laughter. No one else was laughing. Not the models, not the guests, no one. It was the kind of moment that makes your soul cringe from secondhand embarrassment. Kyle would have whispered, she just wanted to breathe in that French chic. And Cartman would have snorted, well, she did, and choked on it. But here's where things went from awkward to just plain absurd. Meghan, who built her brand around being misunderstood and bullied by the media, was suddenly posing in front of, wait for it, the Balenciaga logo. Yes, that Balenciaga. The same brand that was caught in a massive scandal involving disturbing ad campaigns and children. Cartman would have lost his mind. That's like Greenpeace doing a photo shoot at an oil rig. But Meghan, of course, had her explanation. It's a new creative director, she said. A new era. Sure, Meghan. Because apparently, PR scandals have expiration dates. It's wild when you think about it. Meghan claims she fled the UK to escape media intrusion. The flashing cameras, the tabloid lies, the loss of privacy. But now she's in Paris, grinning for photographers, practically walking into their lenses.
The neighbors across the street are setting off fireworks, and it's 10:30 at night.
Oh, is it the Prince of Canada and his wife who just want to be left alone?
Yes, they're being super loud, and I'm trying to work on my...
Kyle would have sighed, guess camera flashes are friendlier in France. And Cartman would have added, she's a true humanitarian, keeping paparazzi employed. That's the Meghan cycle in a nutshell. Every move she makes contradicts the one before it. She says she wants privacy, then releases a documentary. She says she's misunderstood, then gives another interview explaining how misunderstood she is. She says she's done with fame, then shows up at every red carpet event known to mankind. And poor Harry. He's gone from being the cheeky, relatable prince to the silent guy standing next to Meghan while she collects awards. You can almost hear him thinking, I gave up the palace for this? In a South Park version of this saga, the characters would nail it perfectly. Cartman would launch his own Royal Schmear jam brand, claiming it's handmade by empathy. Kyle would roll his eyes and say, being a humanitarian means doing something for others, not yourself. Stan would just sigh, dude, she's turned activism into a TikTok filter. And Harry, he'd probably be standing in the background holding a jam jar, wondering if it's too late to rejoin the royal family.
Hey, can you two fucking keep it down?
Hey, you ever heard of a thing called privacy?
Because at this point, everything Meghan and Harry do feels like a PR performance. Nothing's spontaneous, nothing's real, it's all branding. The jam wasn't about cooking, it was about image. The award wasn't about humanitarian work, it was about staying relevant. Even the Fashion Week appearance wasn't about style. It was about reminding the world that Meghan Markle still exists. The sad part? People are starting to notice. The applause isn't as loud. The headlines aren't as flattering. Even former fans are starting to say, wait, what exactly are they famous for now? But instead of slowing down, Meghan just pushes harder. Every time there's criticism, she doubles down. More photo ops, more speeches, more authentic moments that somehow feel completely staged. Maybe she believes she's doing good, or maybe she just can't stand the idea of fading from the spotlight. Either way, South Park couldn't resist turning all this into pure comedy, because honestly, how could they not? The satire works because it's not far from reality. It's almost word for word what's actually happening. Meghan's world has become a loop of contradictions, claiming privacy while inviting cameras, talking about humility while chasing fame, preaching mindfulness while holding tongs upside down.
Isn't it true, sir, that your questionable wife has her own TV show and hangs out with celebrities and does fashion magazines? What are you suggesting? Well, I just think some people might say that your Instagram-loving...
If South Park ever made a new episode, it'd probably end with Kyle saying, she doesn't need therapy, she needs an off switch. And Cartman would add, nah, she'd just sell the off switch for $199 as part of her new lifestyle brand. In the end, Meghan's story has turned into the ultimate modern satire, a mix of self-importance, image obsession, and unintentional comedy. And that's why South Park's roast hit so hard, because they didn't have to exaggerate anything. They just showed what was already there.